Assalamualaikum and a very good day to you guys. So today it is us, Group 3, also known as Group Peregrine, consisting of myself, Muhammad SYAFIQ bin MOKHAIRI, with the matrix number of AS13705. We'll be giving a short presentation on Phylum Annelida and Phylum Chordata. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. So you guys must be asking the question, what is annelids? It's okay, I am here to tell you. So annelids are basically invertebrates that possess a body cavity, movable bristles, and body segments. And the segmentation of Phylum Annelida, also known as mannerism, contain body cavities such as nervous tracts and excretory tracts. And now, some of the examples of Phylum Annelida are as follows. First off, we have earthworms. We also have leeches, lugworms, and ragworms. And what are some of the habitats of Phylum Annelida? First, they live in oceanic waters. They are also found in fresh waters, damp soils, and dirts. And now, Nana, would you please tell us the role of Phylum Annelida in our ecosystem?
Hi, did you guys know before existing invention to plow soil, long before, the land was regularly plowed and still continues to be plowed by earthworms? As you can see, earthworms and other worms can be very beneficial to us as human and also environment. Fun fact, the first scientist to study the influence of earthworms on the fertility of soil was Charles Darwin. So, what worms can do? First, worms can aerate the soil and enrich the soil by bringing up the nutrient to the surface layer of soil. And also, worms also create a furrows in the ground which allows a better circulation of oxygen and water, so that the air can penetrate the soil and provide the channel for water to drain and enter. And also, the creation of fertile soils by the worm accelerate the process of decomposition of matter by breakdown organic material. And also, many annelids become a source of food for birds such as hens and also nightingales. And for some mammals such as shrews, moles, and bears. This is to maintain the diet of birds and also the mammals. Next, for the characteristic of Annelida, we divided it into 3 classes, which is first, class Oligochaeta, second, class Herodinae, and also third, class Polychaeta. For the class Oligochaeta, we have earthworms. Earthworms contain 4 pairs of setae, and also they have a complex and complete digestive system. Earthworms also have a not well-developed head, since it only have a simple brain and only a nerve cord. Earthworms also have no respiratory organ, and for the hermaphrodite, it only contains both testes and ovaries. And the reproductive organ in earthworm is called clitellum. For the class Herodinae, we have leech, which is the flattened with sucker at the both ends. Leech also don't have setae, no parapodia, and the body have a sucker at posterior and also posterior. Ragworms and clamworms are under class Polychaeta, which is they have a parapodia they use in swimming and as a respiratory organs. Polychaeta has a well-developed head and sense of organ. This means they have a well-developed eyes, antenna, and also sensory bulbs.
Nana just said about the characteristic of annelid just now. So my part is it annelid used lung for their respiration? Of course not, because they has the special structure to do the respiration to make sure that they are still alive. Let's discover with me. Of course, you guys want to know the special structure that annelid has to do the respiration, right? So there's 2 structure, which is gills and skin. First of all, the first structure that annelid has is about gill. Okay, the gill is used for the annelid that stay under the sea. Is it because the oxygen level under the sea is very low? So we know that Polychaeta class was stay under the sea, right? So it used for them. So the gills was used by diffusion from their moist body. Next, the second structure is skin. This skin was used for annelid that doesn't stay in the sea. So Mozambique Oligochaeta class was used skin for their respiration. The skin was used by exchange of gases from their moist skin. We know that the annelid skin was moist, right? So they exchange the gas from that. So the exchanging can keep moist for trap and dissolve oxygen from the air and the soil that called gas permeable.
Next, do you guys know what is the largest species of Annelida to be found in this world? There's a record which is the longest worm was recorded in giant gypsum earthworms of Australia that almost reached 3 m in length. This worm required only a particular type of moist soil with high content of water that made them suitable for their survival. Giant gypsum also lay huge egg cocoons that look like a brown bean pods. They also only lay one egg at a time, which takes a whole year to hatch. And the babies qualify as humongous in earthworm, which is have 7 inch long mostly. But they don't grow very rapid because they in a specific condition. And could you guys guess what class do earthworm belongs to? Yes, earthworms belongs to class Oligochaeta. That's all from me.
So now we talk about subclass of annelid. So there is 3 subclass of annelid, which is Polychaeta, Oligochaeta, and also Hydrodinia. So first, let me talk about Polychaeta first, because Polychaeta is most diverse group of annelid and it was unique among the 3 annelids. So Polychaeta is the marine worms that notable for well-defined segmentation of the body. For example, for the Polychaeta class, there was 3 examples, which is sandworm, tube worm, and also clamworm. Next, we move around to Oligochaeta. Oligochaeta is the common annelid, which is subclass of animal in the phylum Annelida. And oligo is mean few and chaeta, which refer to small hair-like bristle found on the surface of the body. So we know that Oligochaeta has small hair around their body. So the presence of hair like the bristle, it's called setae along the body. So the example is earthworm. So last but not least, the third class of annelid, which is Hydrodinia. Hydrodinia is really separate with other subclass of annelid, which is Oligochaeta and also Polychaeta, because the present of an anterior circumferal sucker and a posterior ventral sucker. So that thing makes the relatively small monophyletic group of annelid. So the example of Hydrodinia, only one, which is leech that can find at the forest after the rain.
So, are leeches really used in medication? The answer is yes! Leeches have been used in the medication industry for quite a while now. So, the MLT, or medicinal leech therapy, is a treatment method where they use blood-sucking leeches. Dun dun dun! Blood-sucking leeches? Yes! Blood-sucking leeches are used to suck blood at the problematic area. But why? This is because they produce an anticoagulant that can revive delicate veins and improve our blood flow. Enough of that. Now Nisha, would you please introduce us to phylum Chordata?
So now let me talk about Chordata. So Chordata belongs to the kingdom Animalia and includes all the vertebrates. Other points of Chordata consists of animals with a flexible root to support their dorsal and backside. The characteristics of Chordata are single dorsal, tubular nervocoid, perennial pouch, and posternal propulsive tail. There are 5 classes of chordata, which is fish, amphibians, reptiles, birds, and also mammals.
For the structure of chordate, we have 5 main structures and characteristics, which is notochord, dorsal-tubular nerve cord, pharyngeal pouch, post-anal tail, and also neotoms. Post-anal tail is a tail which is extend from the posterior into the anus. It extends beyond the anus in adult, and some chordates include human tail will disappear during the embryonic development. Notochord is a dorsal supporting root and located just below the nerve cord. Dorsal tubular nerve cord is a nerve cord that develops as a follicle above the notochord, and the position is situated dorsally. The nerve cord of the embryo will develop into the central nervous system, which consists of brain and also spinal cord. Pharyngeal pouch is the slit and structure that support chordates, mostly on gas exchange, jaw support, and also hearing. During embryonic development, most of this structure can be seen in vertebrates, such as human. Human are chordates that have 4 characteristics during the embryonic process. First, notochord are being replaced by vertebral column, dorsal tubular nerve cord, changed by spinal cord, pharyngeal pouch by auditory tubes, and post-anal tail are lost during the development. Most chordates have internal skeleton that has made of bone and cartilage which the muscle attach. Therefore, most chordates can allow enjoy greater freedom of movement, thus being able to attain larger body size.
Thank you, Nisha. And now I would like to talk a little bit about subphylum Chordata. So subphylum Chordata has 2 different categories. First, we have Agnatha, which are jawless fish. But we also have Gnathostomata, which are jawed fish and fall-limbed animals. But don't forget, Gnathostomata has 6 different subcategories. First, we have Chondrichthyes. We also have Osteichthyes, Amphibia, Reptilia, Aves, and mammals. And now, Nana, would you please talk about the structure of chordates?
For the classification of chordates group, we divided it into 4 subphylum, or we call subphyla. We have subphylum Urochordata, subphylum Cephalochordata, subphylum Vertebrata, and also subphylum Hemichordata. For the subphylum Urochordata, we have an example that's shown on the slide, which is sea squid. For the subphylum Vertebrata, we have mammals, aves, and many more. For the subphylum Cephalochordata, we show lancelet, and for subphylum Hemichordata, we have acorn worm.
Thank you, Nana, for that wonderful information. And now, aren't you guys just dying to know the subphylum Chordata? It's okay, I got you. So first off, let's take a look on Agnatha. So Agnatha is a superclass or other division of vertebrates. They are organisms that have no jaws and are carnivorous. And some of the examples are lamprey and hagfish. As you can see in the pictures, lamprey and hagfish have no jaws. And now moving on to the first subcategory of Gnathostomata. First off, we have Chondrichthyes. So Chondrichthyes are cartilaginous carnivorous fishes that usually live in oceanic waters. They mainly prey on fishes and mollusks, which are organisms that have shells, for example, oysters and clams. So some of the examples of Chondrichthyes are sharks, skates, and rays. We also have Osteichthyes, which are fishes that have bones and have a swim bladder. They usually live in the freshwater environment and also prey on mollusks and plankton. So as you can see in the pictures, some of the examples are catfishes and pikes. Now, let's take a little look at amphibia. So amphibia are fishes or reptiles that are cold-blooded with 3 chambered hearts. They usually live in the wetlands and forests, and they love to eat bugs, slugs, snails, and spiders. Some of the examples of amphibia are frogs and salamanders. And now, let's take a little look at reptiles. So, what are reptiles? Reptiles are cold-blooded vertebrates with scales and bony plates. They also live in the forests, deserts, and freshwater, and love to prey on insects, frogs, and fishes. As you can see, crocodiles, snakes, and lizards are some examples of reptiles. And now, for the fifth subcategory of gnathostomata are aves. Yes, for aves, they are bipedal organisms, meaning they walk on two legs. They also have wings and can lay eggs. They usually live in the toppest of the mountains and forests. They love to eat seeds, fruits, insects, and nuts. And as you can see, some of the examples are pigeons, crows, and eagles. And now, moving on to the last subcategory of gnathostomata are mammalia. So, for mammalia, they are vertebrates that nourish their young ones with milk. Their habitats are usually on land and in the ocean. They also love to eat meat, fruits, grass, and fishes. And as you can see, some of the examples are tigers, whales, platypus, and yes, for those who didn't know, bats are mammals as they give birth to their young ones without laying any eggs.
Most of the Phylum Chordata have their own characteristics that make them to become adept in their environment. We have 6 classes, which is the first class is class Chondrichthyes, which they have a lateral line system to detect different water pressure. For the second class Osteichthyes, which is they have an oxygen exchange via gills that covered by an upper canal. The swim bladder is an air sac to control the buoyancy. For example, bony fish can hold at any depth and not sink by using the swim bladder. For the next class is class Amphibia. They use gills on their larval stage to be replaced by adult stage lungs. For the Reptilia, they have a horny epidermal scale which protects them from abrasion and lost body moisture. For the class Apes, they have a lightweight bone and hollow, which allow them to fly easily and move easily. And lastly, for the class Mammalia, they have layers of fur hair that covering bodies, which help them to have a constant body temperature and trap the heat.